welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shivangi aka your designer Didi, and I am here today to talk about 10 productivity hacks that I have been using as a designer and a creative individual. I know a lot of you guys keep asking me कि दीदी यार ये बताओ आप इतना टाइम कैसे निकाल लेते हो दिन में, आप करते क्या हो? How do you manage time and how are you so productive, and how do you deal with not being productive or having creative blocks? Now creative blocks and all of that we'll tackle in some other video, but today we are talking about all the productive things and hacks that I've figured out over the last few years जो मैं अपनी रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी में यूज़ करती हूँ, and I hope कि वो आपको थोड़ा बहुत inspire करे. Now if you've known me for long enough, you would know that I am an early riser. I come from the northeast. I've been raised in Assam, which means इट कम्स टू मी नेचुरली कि सुबह जल्दी उठना है, बिकॉज भैया वहाँ सूरज ही इतनी जल्दी उठ जाता था. तो जब आप लाइफ के 15 साल जी चुके हो जल्दी उठने में, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गो बैक टू सॉर्ट ऑफ वेकिंग अप लेट. So the biggest productivity hack, number one, that I have for you is start waking up early. It's like stealing time from your own day. The moment you start your day at like 6, 5 in the morning, and waking up early is not 8 and 9, okay guys? पहले तो मैं ये क्लियर कर दूँ, 5 बजे 6 बजे अगर आप सुबह उठना चालू कर दोगे, you will as it is have so much more time in your day to do a lot of different things जो आप पहले नहीं कर पाते. That's one thing that I incorporate in my day, which is waking up early in the morning. Also मेरी माँ breakfast नहीं देती है 8 बजे के बाद, तो उठना ही पड़ता है. Jokes apart, देती है. Mama, I love you. Please don't stop feeding me food. But to be very, very honest, number one and most important hack यही है मेरी life का. The second hack that I would like to share with you is I meditate. And as a creative person, if you relate to this, मैं बहुत ही ज़्यादा I'm all over the place. I have all these creative ideas coming in at odd times of the day, and कभी रात को भी आ जाते हैं, कभी सपनों में भी आ जाते हैं, and it is very, very difficult to channelize all of that if I don't meditate. And for me, meditation has per se been life changing. Now I don't have a strict process on how I meditate. I'll either turn on some nice music, soothing music, meditative music, गूगल पे डाल दो, एप्पल म्यूजिक पे डाल दो, यूट्यूब पे डाल दो, एंड जस्ट लिसन टू दैट. और एल्स देयर इज अ पेड ऐप अगर आप वो करना चाहते हो. देयर आर 2 ऐप्स एक्चुअली, देयर इज काम एंड देयर इज माइंड स्पेस. हेड स्पेस, एंड आई लाइक बोथ ऑफ देम. सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन वॉट योर प्रेफरेंस इज, 10 मिनट ही सही, पर दिन के सुबह के जो वो 10 मिनट है ना, try and meditate, and that would be my second tip to you, because it allows you to be very centered and very aligned with exactly what you want to do with the rest of your day. It helps you sort of get focused, and that's something that I think has been a game changer for me. I've been meditating for over 5-6 years now. Ever since I quit my first and only job, I knew I am my own boss, and I also knew I'm my own sort of एम्प्लॉई एंड एम्प्लॉयर, विच मीन्स अगर मैं टाइम पे काम नहीं करूँगी तो कुछ भी टाइम पे नहीं होगा, और अगर मैं फोकस्ड नहीं रहूँगी तो कुछ भी, my company, my vision, my brand, nothing will be aligned with what I want. And that is why I think meditation is really, really important. And that is tip number 2 for you guys. Tip number 3 is, सुबह उठते ही ना हम सबको आदत होती है अपना फ़ोन हाथ में लेने की, राइट? इंस्टाग्राम पे कितने लाइक्स आए, व्हाट्सएप पे किसने क्या मैसेज किया, फेसबुक अगर आप ओल्ड स्कूल हैं तो फेसबुक पे किसने क्या पोस्ट किया है. वी ऑल सॉर्ट ऑफ रन टुवर्ड्स सोशल मीडिया. आई हैव अ वेरी स्मॉल हैबिट जो मैं भी रियलाइज़ कर रही थी ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन, ड्यूरिंग कोविड 2020 इज़ व्हेन आई रियलाइज्ड कि यार फ़ोन पे बहुत ज़्यादा हाथ जल्दी जाने लग गया है दोबारा, जो पहले नहीं होता था. And I started keeping my phone away from my bed, and this is just a small activity that I do, which is मैं दूसरे रूम में, मैं लिविंग रूम में या फिर स्टडी में जाके मेरा फ़ोन चार्ज पे लगाती हूँ रात को, and that allows me to actually distance myself from the phone 1-2 घंटे पहले सोने से, which is great. And also सुबह उठने के बाद immediately फ़ोन पे हाथ नहीं जाता, which is again great. Of course घंटे 1.5 घंटे बाद तो चला ही जाता है, but कम से कम वो सुबह का 1-1.5 घंटा, even if that time you can spare to not touch your phone, I think it's a game changer, because it allows you to be more productive, right? वरना वक्त यूं भागता है जब आपके हाथ में फ़ोन होता है. My other tip for you is also something that I do, which is deep hour sort of work. Now deep sessions for me are very important before office starts for me. I run an online fashion academy, if you don't know that, and my entire team is remote. So my team members, कोई पुणे में बैठा है, कोई कोयम्बटूर में बैठा है, कोई कनाडा में बैठा है, मैं बॉम्बे में हूँ, कभी अहमदाबाद में हूँ. We are all over the place, right? Which makes it very difficult for us to work as a team, but for us I think that's our strength also. We have set sort of routines which allow us to work together, and for us 10 o'clock is my first meeting with my virtual assistant, which means कि उससे पहले I have to finish breakfast and I also have to finish my personal tasks. So I have a set 1 hour in the morning before my day starts where I sit with myself and make a to-do list. So my deep hour also includes my to-do list where I create a list of things that I have to do, and I have a practice and I have the luxury to be able to afford a virtual assistant who works for me. And I assign her all my to-do list. I literally take a photo of it and send it to her because I'm a little old school. I still write things down on paper, but of course I run an online tech company, so I have to make sure that I'm also well versed with tech. So I send it to her and she creates to-do lists for me on Asana. Now Trello and Asana are two sort of apps which are free, of course, that you could also use to create and sort of manage and schedule everything in your work life. My entire academy runs on it. All my students, all my employees, everyone, all of us are on Asana, and it's a game changer. So that's another productivity hack, an app that you could try for your to-do lists and for your daily managerial work that you're doing. Other than the deep hour and the sort of to-do list that I have for myself, I also take breaks often. So I make sure, there's another app that I personally love using, which is Toggle. I make sure that I have like a 45-minute work hour for every single thing that I'm doing, and then I take a 15-minute break. कभी-कभी आधी घंटा भी हो जाता है, so I'm not so hell-bent कि आधी घंटा कैसे हो गया, but 45 minute max मुझे एक task करना है, उसी में मुझे complete करना है. And another productivity hack which has been life-changing for me, which I've been practicing for the last 1.5 years now, is batching out my days. So for me, each day is batched out. I personally feel that more than multitasking, single tasking works better because you're more focused in the day. And for me, say for example, Mondays in the academy at Designershala is my complete admin day. That is the day when I'm looking at all admin work, all backend work, all email responding, all sort of response management happens on that day. I have my meeting with my academy manager on that day. I make sure all of those tasks are chalked out. For example, Tuesdays are my days when I'm filming reels, or when I'm doing Instagram content, or when I'm just looking up new content to churn out, and that day is completely devoted to like YouTube research, Instagram research, reel research, and by the end of the day I send across all my notes to my VA, and then she converts them into like a document for me to reflect back on later. Similarly, you could do something like that for yourself as a designer. So you could have one day for your sourcing where you go and do all your sourcing. One day could be for only designing, looking up new ideas, looking up new inspirations. One day could be for maybe doing the actual embroidery, sitting down with your karigars, doing the karigar visit that you're doing, or it could be a day where you're doing new research. Whatever it is that your interests are in, and whatever it is that your work requires you to do, not allows, you could possibly go ahead and do that. As a fashion student, you could have set days for, say for example, Saturdays could be days for reading up a fashion book, or watching a fashion documentary, or doing all your fashion research on a Saturday, right? Listening to podcasts on a Saturday, and that's the day you do that. Sundays could be a day where you sit and illustrate, where you do all your fashion sketches, where you do all your brainstorming for new collections or new designs or new projects that you're working on. Batching out basically simplifies your life because our brain takes at least 10 to 15 minutes, and this is backed by science, right, to register on how a certain task is being done. And by the time you're in that task, you push yourself to do something else. And by the time you get accustomed, or your brain gets accustomed to doing that task, you again push yourself to doing something else. I personally feel if you batch out your days, it's just simpler and easier, and that's another tip for you right there. Alright, another tip that I have for you is having a vision board for yourself. I am a sucker for vision boards, and I think I've shared this on the YouTube channel. I'll link the video here for you to go and look at my previous vision board. Since the year 2016 or 17, I've been making vision boards for myself, and I feel it's a great boost of motivation every day to look at it. Today, technology allows you to create your vision boards on your phone. तो वो कर लो. आपके फ़ोन पे आप कोलाज बना के लगा लो अपने विजन बोर्ड का, या अपनी लैपटॉप पे आपका स्क्रीन सेवर लगा लो, या आपके डेस्कटॉप का वॉलपेपर लगा लो, या आप एक फिजिकल मूड बोर्ड लगा लो जो विच इज़ योर एक्चुअल विजन बोर्ड फॉर द ईयर. एंड देन every morning when you look at it, or every night when you look at it, I feel like सबसे बड़ा boost of motivation is discipline in life. But उसके बाद अगर कुछ है that is my board for me, and personally that's my biggest hack for you. Every year I look forward to the year ending, ताकि year ख़त्म होने के बाद मैं बैठ के अपना नया vision board decide करूँ. And also जो मैंने चीज़ें achieve कर ली हैं अपने previous year से, वो चीज़ों को अपने vision board से हटाओ. And the fulfilling feeling, right? Because I'm a believer of the universe and I'm a believer of manifestation, and I know बहुत सारे लोग होंगे जो कहेंगे नहीं वर्कआउट होता है. मेरे लिए पर्सनली होता है यार, so I believe in it. And I feel कि अगर आप वो विजन बोर्ड देखते हो ना साल के बिगनिंग में जो आपने बनाया था, और एंड में क्या क्या चीज़ें उसमें से अचीव हो गई, it's a very good sort of motivation and a very good boost of sort of positive energy in you to be more productive. कि यार अब और हासिल करना है, अब थोड़ी और मेहनत करनी है, थोड़ा सा और अग्रेसिव हो जाना है, क्योंकि अगर इतना अचीव कर लिया तो इस साल जो भी डाला है उस विजन बोर्ड पे वो सारा ही अचीव करना है, राइट? सो दैट्स अनदर टिप दैट आई हैव फॉर यू. दैट्स वन प्रोडक्टिविटी हैक दैट हेल्प्स मी अ लॉट. My phone wallpaper, not my lock screen, but my home screen is always my vision board. I make sure that I look at it every time I go in. And yeah, that's another tip right there for you. Another thing that you could try doing, and this is also very personal, of course, because everything here is very personal, because these are my productivity hacks, is that whenever you are working, right, set some time aside for yourself in the day. Set some time aside for yourself to just be. I feel like this is very, very important, that as creative people, and especially when we are in the hustle mode, we forget or eliminate. मेरे लिए this has been something that I've been practicing for the last 7-8 months कि and I don't set time aside for myself just like that. I set it aside for myself once I've achieved a certain goal. तो अगर दिन के 5 tasks थे और वो मैंने achieve कर लिए हैं, उसके बाद I'll make sure that half an hour I'm going to chill, I'm going to take a walk, or I'm going to just like maybe take a quick nap, or just do something for myself. भले ही वो मैं nails ही paint कर रही हूँ मेरे, जो कि rare होता है, proof. But just take that time out for yourself. It's very crucial as a creative person to give your brain, अगर आप 4 घंटे तक जिम में दौड़ते रहोगे, थक जाओगे ना, तो दिमाग भी थक जाता है यार मेंटल एक्सरसाइज कर करके. सो टेक दैट टाइम आउट टू, एंड यू नीड टू नो कॉन्शियसली व्हेन टू हिट द पॉज बटन, so that you don't reach the stage of having a creative block, or reach the stage of being very exhausted and tired at the end of the day. Now the last 2 points that I have for you are absolutely bomb, because these are points that I've never really shared with anybody other than my own academy students, because of course they are academy special, but I'm still going ahead and sharing them with you. Point number 9 is I love this theory of picking 2 big tasks for the day and accomplishing them by 12 o'clock. तो मेरे हफ्ते का ना ऐसा स्केड्यूल होता है कि मेरे हफ्ते में मुझे 2 बड़े टास्क करने होते हैं, मेरे दिन में भी मुझे 2 बड़े टास्क करने होते हैं, मेरे महीने के भी 2 बड़े टास्क होते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इन द मंथ ऑफ जनवरी माई 2 बिग टास्क वर टू क्रिएट अ पिच for my academy, and the second big task was to start one of the secret programs that we are working on, right? We had to start hiring for it, and once that goal is achieved, February we'll set new targets and new work. Similarly, दिन में हो सकता है as a designer you have multiple tasks, right? You create a to-do list, but how do you prioritize? So for me, I think the biggest hack has been figuring out those 2 big tasks which I know are bringing in the money, which I know are very important for me, because या एज ए फैशन स्टूडेंट आप कह सकते हो उससे नंबर मिलेंगे, वो बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है, उसके क्रेडिट्स ज़्यादा है कॉलेज में, या फिर हो सकता है एज ए डिज़ाइनर यू माइट फील दैट ओ दिस इज़ वेरी इंटेंसिव बिकॉज भैया इसकी डेडलाइन है, आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर इट बिकॉज पूरी टीम इस पर डिपेंडेंट है. सो दोज 2 बिग टास्क यू शुड असाइन फॉर योर सेल्फ फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द डे एंड फिनिश देम ऑफ बाय लाइक नून. दैट नीड्स टू बी द डेडलाइन, बिकॉज इफ यू सिट विथ द टास्क टिल द एंड ऑफ द डे, चांसेस आर नहीं होंगी, क्योंकि मैंने ट्राई किया है भाई, वो शाम के 5 बजे तक नहीं होता है, देन इट गेट्स पुश टू अनदर डे. सो डू दैट एक्टिविटी वेयर यू हैव 2 बिग टास्क. 12 बजे तक हमने ख़त्म कर लिए. उसके बाद जो हमारी टू डू लिस्ट के जो छोटे छोटे माइनर टास्क है, राइट, देन वी स्टार्ट विद दोज, कीपिंग लाइक अ 30-45 मिनट विंडो कि 30-45 मिनट में ख़त्म करना है. रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू ऑल द ईमेल्स एट वन गो. उसके बाद मैं ईमेल्स चेक नहीं कर रही. एंड that's another hack actually also, which is from my favorite book, The 4-Hour Work Week, which has been life changing, just FYI. I'll link the book also in the description if you guys want to go ahead and buy it. It's a beautiful book which talks about how to be productive without actually spending a lot of time working and still getting a lot done. And one of the things I love is having set times to look at your emails, look at your phones, and I think that's so crucial. But yeah, having said that, the last thing that I want to talk about is, in my mind, I have always created fake deadlines for myself, and that has been the biggest game changer for me. So my biggest productivity hack for you, the biggest takeaway that you can take out of this entire video, is create fake deadlines for yourself. As humans, we tend to push things till the 11th hour. So I found a hack where I create a fake 11th hour. And the 11th hour is actually maybe 5 hours away, but I create a fake 11th hour for myself, and I make myself feel that, okay, I need to get this done by the 10th of December. Even if the deadline is 25th, I make it, I hype it up in my head कि ये 10 तक तो ख़त्म करना है, because I know things can go south any time of the day, right? You plan and then life happens. कभी आप बीमार पड़ जाते हो, कभी कोई और project आ जाता है, कभी कोई और deadline आ जाती है, and then you miss out on deadlines. And for me, I think the most important thing is to making sure my deadlines are always met. That's something that I take very, very seriously, and it also allows me to be more productive, because आपने देखा है कई बार आप एग्जाम में बैठते हो, एग्जाम से 15 मिनट पहले वाली जो प्रिपरेशन होती है ना, या वो एक रात पहले वाली प्रिपरेशन, यू रिमेंबर अ लॉट मोर देन व्हाट यू डू थ्रू आउट द ईयर, right? And also when you have like fashion assignments or projects, even if you work in those last 4 to 5 hours, you end up coming with like a brilliant project, and then later you think, यार पहले ही कर लिया होता तो शायद मैं और बेटर कर पाती, सिर्फ 5 घंटे की मेहनत में इतना अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट बना लिया, थोड़ा और जल्दी बैठ जाते तो और अच्छा हो जाता. That's how our brain functions, okay? When we create a fake deadline for ourselves in our head, we again push our head or our brain to think, यार तो submit ही करना है. So we'll finish it in that timeline, and then you have time to improvise. So for every launch that you see us doing, whether in my business, whether in my brand, every time we have created fake deadlines for ourselves, and the whole team works around those fake deadlines, knowing it is a fake deadline. But we end up finishing it way before time, and then we are at ease, and we feel also very productive, because there's something to look forward to. So if you take anything away from this video, and if this video was helpful, please let me know in the comments what are your favorite amongst all the 10 productivity tips that I've shared with you. And also, if you'd like for me to share more such videos, give me video suggestions in the description box. No, comment box. हाँ ठीक है, comment box. चलो go. And I'll see you guys in the next video really soon. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.